right, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jesse Taylor. I am the Vice President of Business Development for RPAG. Thank you for attending today's session. And today we're going to be talking about what's new at RPAG. It is March 2020, and we have a lot of great items that we've rolled out over this quarter in the past couple of months. And as we like to do each quarter, is share a little nice overview of all the new things that you have available to you and share some good ideas. We have a couple of great things today to talk about. First, we like to start with a little bit about who we are at RPAG. What we try to do is we try to help advisors with their biggest concerns, right? Growing your book of business, retaining clients, being efficient with your time, having a scalable service model and process across the board. Ideally, you want to leverage your tech platforms. You want to have competitive differentiators. And of course, you're dealing with fee compression. So you want to be profitable. And that's what we try to do. Every piece of technology, a service or resource that we roll out is going to hit one of these areas and help you with your business. You may know RPAG for our technology. We have a few different business lines underneath our umbrella, right? So we have RPAG for our advisor portal and enterprise solutions for broker dealers and RIAs. FlexPath strategies for our exclusive CITs and target date funds. Plan fees as our advisor and fee benchmarking platform has been really growing at a fast rate. And then, of course, WellSense. We've had a couple webinars this month on that, which is our integrated financial wellness platform. A little bit about our summary, who we are. Collectively, our advisors around the country have over $800 billion in assets under influence. They serve over 7 million participants, more than 80,000 plans served, and across the board, RPAG is consistently ranked #1 advisory firm and group across the country. We look at our service and technology is very cohesive and integrated. We look at our, 3 key areas, right? Our service and support that we provide to you all and to advisors. That's from onboarding, having a customer success team, ongoing training and support, and having a great back office filled with CFAs, ERISA attorneys, senior advisors, and much more. We also look at our unique solutions, right? So these are the competitive differentiators that you can go out there and really make a mark within your marketplace. So WellSense is one of them, right? That's been a key differentiator, as well as our exclusive CITs and target date funds, and our sales and marketing solutions really help advisors and RPAG members stand out. And then our technology offers you scale and efficiency. So our investment analysis tools, benchmarking tools, fiduciary governance, and much, much more. Data aggregation with all the record keepers are massive time saver. And some of the items we're going to be talking about today is more on the CRM and practice management end, with workflows and scheduling. So what's new in 2022? Here's a couple of the items that we're going to be hitting on today. First, a brand new cybersecurity report. We're very, very excited about this tool. It's very important. We're going to be talking about some of the DOL needs there, but essentially, connected with all the major providers, over 150 data points on cybersecurity. I'm not aware of another report out there in the marketplace that does this. Our fiduciary briefcase, longstanding online cloud-based secure document vault. We've made some great enhancements to it with branding and features, and we're going to show a little bit about how that works. Something that we talk about often are automated meeting minutes and agendas. Think of this more as like time and efficiency tools. We have some new designs, some new modules, and that help you with that. And then from a reporting perspective, we have a lot of new modules within the report. So there's plan dashboards and legal briefs and some other items that can help you consult on a quarterly basis and help you modify and customize and build your own reporting templates within RPAG. So let's get to it. First, we're going to talk about the Record Keeper Cybersecurity Report. Again, very, very excited about this. This was built out of necessity. We're looking at the DOL guidance on cybersecurity. And the DOL essentially, they maintain that cybersecurity has always been a fiduciary responsibility. So when we hear fiduciary responsibility, that's a big light bulb off for RPAG. And we want to look at, how can we leverage our place in the market as a market leader, great partnerships with all the great providers, as well as leverage the databases that we have to say, how can we make it easy for you to do the due diligence that the DOL is telling you must do? So the DOL is actively requesting documentation for the issues and non-binding recommendations on cybersecurity, and the courts are likely to view these recommendations as setting standards. So the DOL is going hard on cybersecurity. The RPAG ERISA team has been sharing a lot on best practices at our past couple of conferences. I was just at a broker-dealer event. Fred Reich was talking about cybersecurity. So there's a lot out there. And so we have some great resources to help you. Quick overview. DOL cybersecurity program best practices. Establish a formal cybersecurity program. Conduct annual risk assessments. Again, these are for plan sponsors. Hire a third party to audit security controls. Define and assign information security roles and responsibilities. Establish strong access control procedures. If data is stored in a cloud with third party, conduct security reviews. Conduct cybersecurity awareness training. Implement secure system development lifecycle. Create effective business resiliency program, and encrypt sensitive data and respond to cybersecurity events. So these are all what your plan sponsor must do. There's a lot of great services out there, but they also give some tips for hiring a service provider. So what are the service provider security standards and how have they been met? What are the security practices at that service provider? What are their security policies? Have they had audits and what are the results? And how does it validate those practices? Have they had past security breaches? And can you evaluate the practices as a result of those? And then insurance policy and who's covered, right? So there's a lot of information that the DOL is giving you for tips on how to manage that. I think back to when the DOL put out tips on target date funds, looking at custom and non-proprietary. What are the underlying funds being utilized, right? So there's a lot of areas, and say for most advisors, it was hard to go through that. It's a very manual process. So we want to look at this and we said, what can we do here to help advisors? So what we've done is we've launched a new RPAG cybersecurity report. It's a new deliverable, easy to create, just a few clicks. All major providers are on the system and more being added every week. 150 data points. So think of it like our normal service provider comparison that is within our live bid RFP report. Some people would call it the provider overview. There's a new version of it that's just on the data security. It has all the DOL's recommendations and what they should be looking for and more additional probing questions. We'll have 150 data points, as I mentioned, and it can be run just for a single provider, or you can compare multiple providers to each other. So it's really nice if you've gone through the live bid RFP process at RPAG, you've looked at maybe 4 to 5 alternative providers, and you can, even within that RFP, show a very streamlined version of the cybersecurity. So we beefed up that section of our normal RFP. But let's say you get down to the finalist and you say, I want to do a cybersecurity comparison side by side with these 2 providers. You can go into the system and produce that. It just takes about 2 minutes to do. Or what we even recommend with your current provider, maybe you've already gone through the full RFP, but you just want to do an audit of your current provider with a couple of clicks on the system, you can get a single report on a single provider. And it's maybe about 9 or 10 pages in total. Within the RPAG system, there's a couple ways to get there, right? So the first box in the middle says fee benchmarking, the provider analysis tool. That's the live bid RFP. That's where you're going to get the provider overview, the services only side by side, and you can just show cybersecurity. Or on the right where it says fiduciary documentation, you can run a cybersecurity report just for the record keeper assigned to this particular client. Within the RFP document, if you're doing a provider overview, you can just select services on the type of report, and then you can check, do the drop down where it says provider information and drag in the cybersecurity report into that module to add to the rest of the narrative, or you can delete the other modules and just show that. Very, very easy to do. I'll leave you with, check out that report. Our ERISA team is doing more webinars and more content within the monthly plan sponsored newsletters and the fiduciary hot topics. And so cybersecurity is something very important. This is a way to differentiate yourself, show your clients that you have the ability to understand and document and help them with their cybersecurity responsibilities. And then to prospects, it's another leading question to say, what is your current advisor doing to help you with your, the DOL's guidance on cybersecurity? The most likely answer to that is nothing. So you have a resource now to show that prospect. Next up, we're going to talk about the fiduciary briefcase and some of the great enhancements that we've launched that. If you're not aware of the fiduciary briefcase, it's a secure fiduciary document vault. It stores and organizes important fiduciary documents. You can add any files from outside the system. Think of it like a Dropbox or a SharePoint, and any files that your clients need as well. And then one click to add RPAG documents. So any client deliverable or meeting minutes or anything that you create within RPAG generally has a one-click button that's going to load that file to the fiduciary briefcase. You can even take things like our monthly newsletter, customize it, and then with one click, load it to all of your clients' fiduciary briefcase. So it's a very, very nice integrated tool. It traditionally has always been more of like a fire extinguisher to break in case of emergency. If you need an audit, but we're making more and more features here that it's really makes it useful day in and day out as you're servicing your clients. Within the RPAG system, really easy. You'll see fiduciary briefcase. You can upload documents there. You can view the fiduciary briefcase, see what the user experience is like for your client, and then set some settings to see some of the different customizable features that you can have on there. And it's really easy. You see on the bottom left side, when you create contacts within the system for your clients, you'll give them a briefcase account or not. We've beefed up the security and the multi-factor authentication there. So we'll continue to enhance not only the cybersecurity of the tool, but also the functionality and usability. So here's some recent enhancements. Enhance the advisor and client logo. We've created a new access type in case you have an plan auditor. You can give them access to the tool. Enhance the encryption and security on both ends of the tool. Customize welcome banner message that you can write in for that particular client. The advisor, your contact information is more visible at the top left of the screen. Plan details cards on the plan, so the assets and participants get put in there. Fiduciary documents, as always, traditionally that's what the highlight and feature have been. But now you can even put a service plan, which is like the service calendar for that client. That's in there as well. Moving on to some of the efficiency tools. I see these as practice management, time efficiency. At RPAG, we have basically every single fiduciary report that you can ever need, from funds, fees, fiduciary, plan design, target date analysis, stable value analysis. Where you take it to the next level is where you start talking about the efficiency tools that you have. So how can you save time day in and day out? That's really where we try to bring our value, saying let's keep everything in one place. So you're doing all your work on your retirement plan business in one area, and you want to save time. So if we can save you a few clicks and a few minutes on each plan, on each client, each report you have to run, right, that can be hundreds of hours throughout the year. Larger firms, that could be thousands of hours where we're saving time. And as more and more advisors are doing more and more work on a day in and day out within our RPAG, we've wanted to really launch this task management and workflow center that we have. So some of the highlight task management and time-saving tools that we have, right? Automated meeting minute notes. That's number one. That's going to get you the best bang for your buck, saving you time throughout the year. Meeting agendas is our newest area. It's been really fun. A lot of great feedback. This has been driven directly from our RPAG members using the system, saying, "Hey, it's great, but I like to present agendas, especially now that we're in this virtual world. And a lot of client meetings are still over Zoom. I like to show the agenda right off the bat of what we're going to talk about, and I always just make that in a Word document. And at RPAG, you have all my client information. Can your system make it for us?" So we've really spent a lot of time there. A newer tool, fund change notices. This is really cool. We're going to talk about that. Client notes. We've improved the CRM experience of the tool. client advocacy reports, really nice year-end summary, and then improvements to the task center, the calendars, and the service plans. So first, let's kind of show where those are. This is a client details page, right? When you click on any client within RPAG, you're going to see this screen. Notes section has been improved in the top right. And then a lot of those efficiency reports, or I'd say value add reports, are on the second square to the right. So that's where your meeting minutes, agendas, provider notices, those are the fund change memos, and then the client advocacy report, which is our latest. Talk automated meeting notes, right? This is going to save you time by not having to write up those minutes. Automatically pulls plan information from the investment review that you create within RPAG. So, right, you're linked up with the service provider with our plan asset link or PAL data aggregation, the allocation of the plan, the sector allocation, the funds, the fund score, fund recommendations that you're making, watch list or replacement funds. Those are all going to port into this report. You don't have to type this out. There's also templated responses for market review. And then the newest one is the fiduciary legal brief from our ERISA team. You can just check a box and those pieces flow right in there. So you're giving really nice 2 to 3 page recap document with maybe just spending about 5 minutes. And then you can always add your own notes and your own color commentary. Really nice too. It syncs with the fiduciary briefcase with just 1 click. Fund change notices, somewhat newer, right? Again, saves you time by not having to write up fund changes that you're going to send over to the provider. It's based on the fund recommendations that you make within the investment review. You go into your client, you say, look, these are the funds we're going to remove, the funds we're going to replace. Instead of just going out and typing it up in an email, you hit a couple of check boxes within the RPAG tool. It's going to make this template for you. And you kind of see in the blue, there's dynamic fields. So it's going to put the fund additions or fund elimination, hello provider name. Then you just copy and paste the text and you drop it into your email and you send to them. So it's a nice time saving tool, save you a couple minutes just by doing this, by not having to go back to report. What is this fund name? What is the ticker? What is the mapped assets? The system is going to do that for you. And again, if you have 30, 35 clients and you have 100 meetings per year, this is potentially a couple hundred minutes that we can save you from having to do that. Meeting agendas, again, this is the latest, same theme here, save you time by not having to draft meeting agendas. You can set templates and you can have as many templates as you like, and you can base it off what RPAG has a standard template that you can create your own orders and your own subheaders, and it's really nice, right? You can even enter virtual meeting details. So this has been really helpful for a lot of folks who still do Zoom calls with their clients, and you can put your Zoom ID and call-in number and paste it right in there. You can add new discussion topics, so you don't have to keep that. You can have different sub headers, right? You can section it by employee engagement or benefits or retirement plan, however you're going to structure your meetings. You can create templates to reuse across all clients, add new discussion topics, produces a nicely designed PDF, and then you can brand it, and the client, the color, your logo, and the client logo. The RPAG logo is on there because I was making it, but that would be your company logo that would go in there. Also a really nice thing, you can add those agendas into your investment review documents, which is really nice if you are doing virtual meetings. So you don't have to have 2 separate PDFs to share on screen, that you can just bake that instead of like creating an agenda in a PDF and then merging the 2 PDFs together. You can just simply drag and drop the module within the RPAG, within an investment review, put it in the right order, maybe even put it before the title page. So when you send the PDF to your client, they're going to see what the agenda looks like right there. So just, again, saving you a couple extra clicks and a little bit of time on there. We beefed up the client notes section. So wanted to give you the opportunity to efficiently store and export notes instead of just a running list. This is really more CRM-like. There's individual notes. It's going to know the date, who it was created by. This is nice if you have certain information that you want to share on a client, or let's say you have multiple people across your company working on a particular client. They can always reference the notes of what happened last time or what actions were taken. It's going to keep you and your team organized. You can even assign tasks to fellow team members. So you can create a to-do, and you say, hey, this is due by this date, and it's assigned to this person, and we want to schedule on-site education meetings, or whatever that note is going to be, or that task is going to be for someone on your team, or even for yourself. One of the newest value adds that we've launched is a client advocacy report. So as you see, this is a little bit different. This is meant to be like a letter that you send off to your client. And this is a template that we've provided in Microsoft Word for a long time. And we had a member say, hey, I love your meeting minute notes section. It was really nice. I like that Word document called the year-end review letter. Can you combine those two ideas? And I said, oh yeah, let's give it a look. So we put a template in. You can change it and do whatever you like, and it gives you a great starting point as a year-end recap letter. Or maybe you have an at-risk client who's starting to ask some questions or potentially take you out to RFP. Here's what you can do, and say, hey, here are all the things we do for you. This is more qualitative and more emotional, and I'd say goes into greater detail than something like a service plan or just a reporting document. This is all the things you do outside of that, and there's hundreds of different data points that you can utilize on here to save as templates. We've made it easy. There's little red fields that you can just type into the tool and say, we provided X number of meetings with your participants. We did X number of calls with the record keeper during your conversion. It's going to be a 1 to 4 page PDF, or really as long as you want to make it, or short as you want to make it. And it's going to store it in there. And again, you can save it into the fiduciary briefcase. So trying to do all the things that you do for your client, like the meeting minute notes, like the fund change notices, the year-end recap letters that you might already be doing, and have it all saved in one place to save you time. Some other time savers, the task center has gone through a lot of enhancements over the past few months. As you use the system, you have different calls, tasks, to-dos. You can assign them to people within your team. And then on the task management center on the homepage, you're going to see what's coming up this week, today, this week, next 30 days, next 90 days. And then the calendar. So this is also client service meetings that goes along with the service plans that you see to the right. But it's going to take all the different service meetings that you have scheduled or even proposed, and it's going to put them on this calendar. And you can look at, if you go into the deeper calendar tool within the system, you can see your meetings, you can see meetings from other folks on your team and across your firm. And then the service plans, we've made some enhancements to the service plan. So you can now do one that has less detail. There's another version of it. You can customize the colors that show up on the output there. That even customizes what's shown to a client, like in the fiduciary briefcase or even within a report. This is really the chassis and the backbone of all the tasks and calendars and everything else within the tool. We've made it extremely customizable. You can change the names of the services. You can build your own services, your own frequency. So a lot of really good information. We had a question come through the chat, says, is there an interface with Salesforce so we can store the reports, meeting notes, et cetera? Not at this time. We are working on an integration with Salesforce. And so we hope to have more information about that later on this year at our national conference, but we are working towards that goal. And to get to those task managements and calendar from the main RPAG dashboard, if you click the super menu button in the top left, you'll see My Calendar. You'll also see an area of practice management tools that includes the service meetings, to-dos. You can see compensation reports. Advisor reports are really nice because it'll show you all the data and you can slice and dice it any way you want. And then Advisor IQ is a really cool visual business intelligence dashboard that looks at your entire book of business and lets you drill through on, let's say funds that are on watch lists across plans that are between $1 and $5 million, and it's all very visual. It's a nice. So check out the practice management section of the menu if you haven't already. Now let's talk about some of the new report modules that we've launched over the past couple of months. First is our plan fees integration. Many of you are familiar with plan fees. Plan fees is our fee benchmarking app that we launched in 2020. It's a great tool. It is set up on a separate chassis of RPAG, but as part of the RPAG family of tools. We've just deepened the integration between the RPAG platform and the plan fees platform. So if you have the plan fees option on your account, you can you'll see if you check a box and you say, hey, I want to run a plan fees report, it's going to send the plan information over to the plan fees tool to run a benchmarking report. Not a lot of information is needed, but plan name, total assets, participants. If you have the, of course, you'll have the investment costs, the weighted investment cost in there based off of the RPAG investment lineup. If you have fees entered into any of the cards or demographics, it'll port those over too, and just save you. It only takes 2 minutes to run a plan fees report, anyways. But hopefully it'll save you 50% of that time. So it'll only take you 1 minute now to run that report. So if you're not familiar with plan fees, quick and simple annual fee benchmarking report. It looks at current plan and then compares it to the RPAG and plan fees universe of low, average, and high for plans of that size, and is really, really easy to run. So now you can send plan data from RPAG to plan fees, but you can also pull plan fees reports that you've run into any RPAG client deliverable. So we're going to show that. It's a really nice tool. So if you're running a provider analysis report, so the RFP, or even a fiduciary investment review, like your quarterly or annual plan review, one of the things you can do is now add a module. So if you click a fees tab, you'll see plan fees prism with a little upload arrow. You drag that into your report layout, and you pick the report that you want to show. And what it's going to do, it's going to take that entire plan fees report, comparison, the 3 pages of the analysis, and put it right seamlessly into your investment review. So, investment review is really, your funds may already be doing great. So you're looking for other areas to bring, right? So that's fiduciary education modules. That might be fiduciary documentation pieces, committee charters that you can pull in, or now you can seamlessly pull in that annual fee benchmarking report. So I encourage you to take a look at that. It just makes it easier and easier to use that tool. And if you haven't seen plan fees in a while, we also launched last year an annual an advisor compensation and service benchmarking tool called Prism 365. Really, really interesting, really integrated in there too. Next, I want to talk about the fiduciary legal brief. This is a nice static module that you can drag into any of your client deliverables. This is created by our investment committee. It's going to maybe be 1 to 3 pages of information. Really, really simple to go in there. This is just litigation or case law that our ERISA committee is putting out there. So really nice topic point. Again, we have our fiduciary hot topics newsletter. That's going to be a multi-page piece that you probably want to deliver separately outside of a client report or deliverable. But here's a really nice overview to put in there. I like to put it in the order along with the market review. So I'm going to start off with market and legal review and say, hey, here's what's going on before I dive into the plan summaries. Some of the other newer pieces that we've launched are some of the pieces called plan dashboards. There's 4 or 5 different plan dashboard types out there. I really like the plan highlights piece. Has a little bit of investment, fee, demographic, and design information stored off of the data and the cards that you have within RPAG. Looks at assets and funds and participation and puts it in there in a really nice visual module. Or there's the plan dashboard summary page, right? So the summary is even more streamlined version of this. It's going to look at the average fund score, break down by different scores, weighted expense ratio, and an allocation breakdown. So really, really nice summary dashboard page. I mean, we have some advisors who like to use this, and really they're not doing too much deep investment analysis, but they like to show how the plan performance is just from a dashboard. So there's some nice pieces. Take a look at, kind of going back here as you're, building reports and you're doing investment reviews or any other sort of plan review in RPAG. Look through the various drop downs, the documents and disclosures, fees, investments, plan level, anything else, and look at those different modules and play around, see what works right for you. And as always, you can save that order as a template. You can use it across anyone within your organization. Another new module that we launched, this is within the provider analysis or live bid RFP. You can actually add custom questions. So this is really nice for specific cases where you say, maybe you have a client where there's Spanish language enrollment that's needed. Or how you want to understand like how many education days are offered, right? That sometimes that's within the service package and there's 400 data points there, but you can ask specifically, and that'll go out to all the bidder, the incumbent and all the bidders to say, yeah, we're going to answer these questions, and it's going to show in a side by side across all the incumbent and bidding providers that you show. You can, if let's say you even ask similar questions to all the providers, you can put them, save it as a template. And so when you're going and creating an RFP for a client, you just say, these are the questions I want to ask. And again, you can modify it as you get into the RFP. But this is just a nice area if you want to include those custom questions. We see a lot of advisors use this. Some of them even build this out pretty robust. I've seen advisors use this for DB RFPs, 403B, 457 RFPs, if there's specific questions that are not captured in our database of 400 responses. This is an area where you can go above and beyond and get customized there. Save it as a template so it's repeatable for you and your provider partners out there. And before we close the call today, I want to talk about some of the things that we have coming soon. We had what's new. Now let's talk about some of the things that are on the horizon for RPAG that are in our development pipeline. So working on RFP Express, an instant quote proposal tool similar to our provider RFP. It's really within that provider RFP, provider analysis, just streamlining it a little bit more. We're really excited about that, working with all the top providers. Rollover analyzer. So the rollover analyzer tool is chugging along, comply with PTE 2020-02. Really, really nice, syncs up with complies with the regulations and rules, but also syncs up with all the retirement plan information that you have within our RPAG, and really nice output to document that. If you're a compliance officer or firm executive, you also need to track at what's going on there, and there's a mechanism that will be built in that. And then we're working on a pooled plan reporting. We have some great batch reporting anyways in our system, but with the prevalence of PEPs and MEPs and GOPs and everything else that's out there, we're building some new mechanisms to help with pooled plans. And then, ESG fund ranking. So that's something coming soon as well. So, looking at, of course, regulations are going to change, but we are counting and preparing for that in terms of ESG, but we're partnering with MSCI on their fund rankings, and those will be integrated into the RPAG scorecard system. So if you wanted to show how funds score from an environmental, social, and governance perspective, you now have that ability through RPAG. So those are some things that are coming soon. And I'll leave you with this, some action items, whether you're an RPAG member or you're considering joining RPAG, review your tech stack, review the services and reports and deliverables that you're providing to your customers, or maybe are not providing to your customers and may need to add, and then look within RPAG to see if we have that capability. And most likely we do, but if we don't, give us a call. We're always happy to build something new. We're a heavy feedback organization. Look at those tools to see, are they efficient? One of the advantages, as if you're utilizing RPAG, is that it's all in one place under one roof. and you're not using 5 or 6 different tools to service your clients. And that's what we try to do, is save you time there. So take advantage of those resources, take advantage of the customer service team, the experts that we have in our back office, take advantage of the networking opportunities with other top flight advisors and service providers, and everyone through the RPAG membership network. So thank you for your time today. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or to my associate Luke, or even just to support@rpag.com, and we're happy to get you some help. Thank you and have a great day.